Show yo. Show yo. Show yo. Yo, it's POS with Pat and Bobby. News so wild it's never sloppy. Talk the truth, don't make it snobby. Who's the POS? We getting choppy. POS show yo. Show yo. Show yo.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Bobby, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well, buddy. How about you? How was your weekend?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm just loving life. I'm getting ready for my recording in less than 2 weeks. And I got a special email that could be either for me or possibly for you. Or I was thinking maybe even for a lucky listener if they wanted to win this. But I will read it off in a minute. It will also kind of turn this into a POS story. But first of all, how was your weekend? How are you doing?
Long weekend, did a bunch of editing, did a bunch of work, personal growth, all that shit. Nothing to write
Personal
home
growth?
about,
When
though.
did you growth?
Oh, by that I mean I jerked off like 19 times.
Yeah, you personal grew your sheets. Gross.
Grew
Hey,
my
Kish,
penis. Kish, kish, kish. But the issue with that is
You
I
can't say
scored-
grew my penis, kish, kish, kish. No, you gotta pause, you gotta breathe, you gotta kish.
I mean, let's let Kish feel, Let me feel out the waters. Because I was going to say I scored 0 points with those 19 jerk-offs because I'm so lonely. But that's my life, man. So maybe
It'd be
Kish
weird
is
if you just
down.
invited someone over to be like, hey, I just need points.
I need you to go to sleep. Don't ask questions.
I had a fun weekend. I was at the casino opening up for Matt Friend. Do you know who Matt Friend is?
I knew a guy named Matt Friend. Is yours a
Is
little
he
God
a
touched him?
25-year-old comedian who does impressions?
Did God touch your Matt Friend a little too long?
In what way?
Like he's special.
This
Doesn't
guy's
really
not
understand
special, but he's
okay.
definitely autistic.
Dude, I might know this guy. Where's he from?
Well, he lives in New York now, and he's a national headlining comic and TikTok famous. So I think you
Probably
would know
don't.
already.
My brother would know if he was, and there would be some allegations that had come out by now about my Matt Friend.
Oh, I don't believe he's from any of those areas that you're saying. He seems like he was either made in a lab or in L.A.
No more parties in LA. Only labs growing young, handsome comedians.
Well, this is 25 years ago, so they still were doing it. But like, nice enough guy, but he's an impressions guy, and everything is it's like he'll be like, "What if Donald Trump said this?" And then everybody just goes, and then they're like, "Jeff Goldblum's being crazy," and then he does something, and everybody's like, "Yeah, that's Jeff Goldblum." So it's just like an hour of. Yeah, that is Paul Giamatti if he was saving your nephew. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're right. That is Jennifer Coolidge if she drank water with.
It's almost like a magic show, less of a stand-up show. Not that it's not entertaining, but it's just you're not dying on the floor laughing. Yeah,
they were entertained. There was probably one show where people, literally every person was like, "What? Why did you get off the stage so early?" They didn't hate him, but they were kind of like wanting stand up. You could tell more than the ones that go. But we had good crowds. He's a nice enough guy. I was saying this to some of the staff there. It felt like he was a guy that like AI. If they built a guy,
AI built a guy. Isn't that a 50 Cent
like,
song?
He was like 6'3", 6'2". He looked like every like middle of the country news anchor, like a young black hair, part of the perfect way, clean shaven, handsome, wore outfits that were like supposed to be casual, but could also be business. You know what I mean? Like it's like button down shirts, but like brown khakis, but all different types of that. And his name, Matt Friend, feels like if AI was going to make a friendly, likable guy, what's a name that's known? Matthew. What's a name? Friend. You know what I mean? Like you would do that. And at the end of the weekend, when he was like, he's like, "Hey man, it was really good performing with you. We didn't really talk much." And he just goes, "Fist bump." He said fist bump.
That's a robot.
Fist bump. That felt like a robot.
Have you seen the meme where it's like, what do you guys want for lunch? And somebody's like Taco Bell. The other guy's like Pizza Hut. And he's like, me, motor oil, looking at John because I'm suspicious he's a robot.
Right.
Matt, you want to go grab some motor oil for lunch? Yeah, let's do it, buddy. Fist bump.
He didn't do much crowd work. He kind of stayed to his thing. But on Saturday, the last show, there was a guy sitting up front. Now, he wasn't listening to my act, so he was in the back getting ready for his. You know what I mean? And you've been in that club. People know it's hard to hear from the green room unless you stand by the stage. So I went up there, and I'm only doing 15 because he wanted to do an hour, which was fine. What I did was, I think you would have been the same way, because I got the hour coming anyway. Besides the opening joke that I wanted to keep opening with, I did a different 13 minutes all 4 shows. I just boom, and kind of moved it around to whatever. It felt good, everything. So everything was flowing nicely. The 8 o'clock show, I turn, and there's this guy right in the front, and he's next to this very attractive lady. He's not a bad-looking man, so they're an adorable, good-looking couple. And, except for the guy's got sandals on with his fucking feet. And I looked out, and I'm like, what are we doing? You know, it's like, I guess we're not getting laid tonight, like whatever. And I just kind of like laid into it a little too much, but like he was laughing, but like
he's
just
wearing
on and on.
sandals,
Like the suggestion, like, you know, this is, you should sit in the back. You know what I mean? Like those aren't money making feet. Like, you know, those your toes look like thumbs. I'm shitting on the whole thing. I go and watch some of Matt's act. Matt didn't know. Matt doesn't do crowd, but he looked at it and goes, oh, your feet are out, huh? And then wouldn't stop bringing it up. Dude, this guy's feet got brought up for an hour and 20 minutes. If I was going to say it for all that time, you could take up 80 of the minutes, 70 of the minutes, probably, and his feet got mentioned.
I mean, so if he is a fetishist, and that's why he had his feet out, you know he sat there for 70 minutes of 80 minutes with rock hard.
I will tell you right now, not a fetishist. Because he was like kind of embarrassed, whatever. Now, so after the show, I went to go walk to my car because I had some edibles there. And because I was staying in a hotel next door. And so I walked out there because I was going to hang out in the hotel a little bit. And as I'm walking back towards the elevator, I see the guy getting ready to go on the elevator with his girl. And I grabbed on the back. I'm like, my man, I am so sorry. He turns and goes, you were hilarious. Because how I go, bro, I want you to know, him and I had never spoke. He goes, it was wild. He goes, you guys did not stop. He goes, when we left, people were looking at my feet. Like, he goes, I didn't know what to do. I'm walking through the casino. People are just staring at my feet. It's like,
dude, that is nuts. The only thing I have even comparable is you've heard my trans joke.
Yeah.
Where I start by picking out and be like, other than this person mid-transition who's in therapy, and the person came up to me and was like, how did you know after the show? And I was like, oh, buddy, I'm so sorry. I did not know. And now I feel really bad because it is not showing.
If anyone follows me on TikTok, you would see this clip. But the foot one's on there too. It's not as good, but like, so Thursday night, I do the 8 o'clock show, and then I was going to take off because I had to go to work the next day, but like they have a 10 o'clock bringer show that me and Frank can do sometimes, but there's another one that when the days that the Thursdays that Frank doesn't do, there are other people that also run a bringer.
Flips, yeah.
And this guy, Jeff Wade, that I know, runs it with a guy you might know from Long Island named John Butera. I don't know if you know John. John's a guy who kind of knows people because he puts on a bunch of shows in mostly with other Italian comics, but he's been known to work with like, you know, New York Comedy Club, Broadway, that kind of guy who just puts on a lot of showcase and things. And he does one here. And I give him credit. It's a bringer show, and he books all dudes from Long Island, but they all bring people from Long Island. So it's like an hour and a half, 2-hour drive. And all Italian people in the audience, it's not a ton, but like they get like 40 or 50 people to go all that way on a Thursday at 10 o'clock.
And the club or the casino probably loves it because they're like, oh, now we've got 50 people who would not be here for any other fucking reason.
That's most people. The place is so busy. They don't, it's a blip, but like, you know what I mean? Like, so anyway, Jeff Wade could not make it. He had some stuff going on. The guy who usually runs it, but the club was like, oh, Pat, do you want to do 10 minutes? And I'm like, I would like to do it. I'm here, you know, whatever. And he's like, and I was pretty edibled up because I didn't know I was going to do it. And I was like, yeah. So I go into the green room, and it's just 5 of the most Italian-American, I'm going to say Italian-American men you've ever seen. It's the better of the 3 o'clock shows. Hey-o. But I don't even know the other ones are. But like, I was like, hey, Jim. So I'm standing there, and they're like, oh, and the host knows me, John Butera, and he's like, this is Pat Oates, funny comic. He's actually going to be headlining a couple weeks. He's going to do 10 minutes. I was like, oh, great, whatever. And they're all talking to each other, and they all know each other well. They're all talking about whatever they're talking about. It's just so Italian. Like, it's like one guy's like, you fucking kidding me? The fucking this? You fucking doing that? That's oh, Jesus Christ. You fucking forget about it. Hey, fucking. And then like they look at me, they go, "What do you do?" And I go, I was at this point I'm at my highest. I just go, "You guys are so Italian." And they look at me like, "What?" I go, "Oh, you guys are so Italian. I don't know what to do. I'm not Italian." The guy goes, "Yeah, we know." So so the host goes, "Well, how do you want me to bring you up?" I'm like, "You say my name." He's like, "No, you need stuff." I'm like, no.
No.
I go, "You know what? If you want to, I'm headlining here in 2 weeks. If you just point left, the poster is left to the stage. Like literally just point left and go, he's headlining." He goes, "Fine." And I walk out, I'm looking through the thing, and the guy forgot which way to point. It was he just goes, "Somewhere here there's a poster." There's no poster on the right, but he doesn't know the place. He goes, "But the guy's gonna be here." And I'm like, so I walked out, and it was fine. I'm doing like a minute or two in, and I turned to this couple, and they're like an Italian couple from Long Island, whatever, older, like probably in their 40s. And I say to the guy, I go, "So how long you guys been married?" And he goes, 3 years. And she goes, "Yep, 3 years." And then before I can say anything else, he goes, "And she eats my ass every day." And I go, What? He goes, "Yeah, I wouldn't be married to her unless she did." I was like, "What the fuck?" I go, "Dude, I'm a comedian. I'm supposed to say funny things. That's okay. You got to go home with your ass-eating wife now and walk around." You said this out loud. And it became 6-7 minutes. I cut it down to 2, but it became 6-7 minutes of me just breaking down how she can get a divorce, like what the fuck's happening. It was crazy. So my 10-minute set became me doing 2 minutes and then a bunch of ass-eating guy thing. It was very strange. But fun weekend overall.
She loves shame. Now that everybody knows she's an ass-eating slut, she's gonna come real hard, Mr. Oates.
Well, it's funny because you could hear on the tape, and I didn't really hear it until afterwards. You hear her quietly go, "I did it one time."
One time, and it reminds me every day.
Every day that you're the angel of my asshole.
Just call me angel of your asshole.
Now, you brought up your joke about trans people.
Yeah.
Do you know, I'm saying this, I know you do know, but I'm saying this in conversation the way podcasting works. Bobby, do you know, what's her full name so you know it? Lainey Spicer.
I don't think I do, actually, and not even for podcast sake.
Oh, okay. I thought you did. Lainey Spicer is the woman that books all the mid to low level porn stars.
Spencer. Yes, sorry, Spencer.
Well, it's not Spencer because from her email it says Spicer.
Oh boy.
So,
boy.
Either way, Lainey back in the day when we started doing Bobby and I show together, we would have some porn stars on. We got through Lainey, Wet Spot, and other show. I'm sure In Hot Water, whatever. When they had porn stars, they kind of probably went through her. She's someone that gets. Not the creme de la creme, but the creme de la creme. You know what I mean? Like you get some shit, whatever. But because we've had her clients on the show before, we're considered clients of hers, I guess, or at least we've been customers, I guess. We've never paid, but we're customers. So I got this email this morning. Now it's to me my email for POS, I would assume.
Okay.
Hello and happy Monday. If you have received this, it means I really like you, and I'm inviting you to my longtime client, friend, and bridesmaid, trans superstar Mia Isabella's birthday party at Sapphire 39 in Manhattan on Tuesday, tomorrow, July 30th, from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. in their upstairs VIP room. The flyer with details is attached, and Bobby, I will give the flyer to you if you need it, if you have nothing to do tomorrow later on. You may know Mia from her work in adult entertainment, starring and directing in her own award-winning movies, Want Some Honey 1 and 2. I don't know if you know those movies.
One of the rare occasions where the sequel's better than the original, I hear.
Yes. Or heard her on a bunch of huge shows, like the time she did the Howard Stern show, where she won and I want you to guess, the name of the trans beauty pageant she won.
Most passable.
No, think of a miss and then a month pun.
Guy of July.
Miss Cocktober.
Oh, I like that.
She won that. or heard her voice in the last Grand Theft Auto video game release as Hooker number 1. Dude, this so far is the greatest email I've ever received.
Yeah, dude, what are you doing Tuesday?
Nothing. You're going. Or this is what I was talking about. Or maybe we're giving this away. They've never met you or I. It's just through email. Any of our listeners can go if we send them the thing and say they're Pat Owens and Bobby Tamburo. Or caught her on the last season of Sons of Anarchy. And they did not know she was trans when they hired her.
Ooh.
Yeah. Or even from the gossip pages because of her friendship with high-powered men in entertainment and sports. A lady never reveals it all. But she's not a lady, so she can tell us. Maybe you can even subscribe to her OnlyFans. July 30th is her actual birthday, and all she wants is your presence to celebrate life at one of her favorite places in New York City. All you have to do is respond with your RSVP, and there is no cover. You are welcome to bring a +1 and dress summer casual chic. Hoping you have a wonderful summer. Best, Lainey. And I'm going to say, I mean, yeah, when you look at her, I go, that's a fella. But it's one of the better ones.
Oh, really?
I'll send it to you. You don't have to share it if you don't want to, but I'll send it to you so you can look at it.
I'll take a look, yeah.
Oh, I just realized when I wrote back to you this weekend and it didn't deliver. So I was like, I did not ignore you, but it just did not deliver.
That's why I was confused. That makes sense.
Okay. Well, no, you got it anyway because you responded. I said you got one scheduled for August 5th. That one, it just says it didn't deliver, but you did get that. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, yeah. No, if I didn't
did I send it twice? Yeah, I said it twice. I mean, it's not the worst trance, but they got to look a certain way. They got to stare down. They got to suck in their cheeks. They got to. That's a fella. So
more power.
Yeah, you're right, Terry. She does have a +1. So I guess so far all we really got is in the commenting. I mean, there's people watching, but people are just talking. Jim, Gish, Terry, and you guys want to go to a trans birthday party at the VIP thing in Manhattan tomorrow? You can be Bobby's +1.
Might not be the worst, yeah.
Or Bobby, you could use it, and this could be the weirdest date you ever took somebody on. If you're like, hey, I know you don't really think of us as a relationship, but hear me out. I need someone to go with me that looks a lot like a woman. And you are the most feminine looking person I've ever seen. I need you to be there to make sure people don't think I'm with a non-woman. So can you please go with me on this date? That's a great way to tell a lady she's pretty.
I gotta find a pretty lady.
You know some pretty ladies. I just don't know if they would go. I think they're already going. So who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it me for taking this invite and not just saying, hey, thank you, but I cannot make it, and reading it on here and bringing it up and making fun of this woman? It's her birthday. It's very nice they invited us. She's been great, never been charged to have guests on the show. They weren't great. It was some more worse episodes, but still, it's not her fault. Is it me for doing that? Is it also me for presenting this as a prize to people or to give to you or say anybody can go? Is it her for like, hey, this is my client, it's her birthday, and all she wants is you guys to be there? None of us know who she is, so that's a weird birthday. That's not, I know it's no cover, but like, what's the point? You're turning her birthday into a chamber of commerce? Like, what's going on here? Or is it trans people? What are we doing?
For me, Pat, the piece of shit isn't Lainey. Like, she's doing her thing. It isn't the trans woman or the trans people.
Is it Michelle Obama?
I mean, let's not spoil anything.
All right.
I was scambling, and that was my Hail Mary if I didn't come up with anything. Nice. No, it's not the trans people, because, like, if you're a comedian, how do you want to spend your birthday?
I usually either performing or with my kids.
So
and it's not because I want to spend it that way. It's because it's just I happen to have a show. I'd rather do nothing. I'm not a birthday guy, so it's like.
Oh, if I have on my birthday, dude, I'd love to do comedy. It's my favorite thing.
Oh, I don't care. I forget it's my birthday when I'm on stage, so it's like.
And have my favorite people around me. So let's do both. Let's do it together. Hershey's doing her favorite thing, performing at the Sapphire Strip Club, and then
Hershey.
What?
Oh, your thing from your joke. I thought you were calling her Hershey, like like that was her name. Like, that's not her name.
she's doing her thing, which is dancing at the Sapphire Club. So like
You said
around
Hershey's doing her thing. Go back and play the videotape. You used your
okay,
bit.
I wasn't doing a bit. Um,
Don't you do that
I do,
in your
but
bit?
I didn't do it intentionally. I'm just trying to say
Okay.
it's not her for wanting to dance at this club with her friends. It's not Lainey. She's doing her job. She's done a great job of getting people on here, and she's trying to get people at the Sapphire Club. It's not us. We don't know her. If she had been a guest and had been one of our most viewed things, then yeah, like we keep it private and say thanks for the invite. But whatever, we're getting it out there. I guarantee you, if people who watch this podcast are fans of her, they're going to go to the Sapphire Club. So for me, the piece of shit would be anybody who doesn't go and watch this woman dance.
I don't think she's dancing.
That's what you do at that club.
Yeah, but I think it's her. I think she's gonna have people dance for her. That's why it's her
Okay,
birthday.
so then go support some people to dance. Hopefully they don't.
Why are you defensive today?
I'm not being defensive.
That's the second time. Okay, like I made a joke about your joke, your Hershey, and I was just like, "Oh, that's a fun joke." I said, "Was that your bit?" And then you're like, "It's not a bit." I'm like, "Well, this is all a joke."
Oh
We're
no,
a
no, no.
comedy podcast.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, "I don't think she's dancing." Probably get there, and you're like, "Well, maybe she's." I don't know. You seem very defensive. Are you upset that I got the invitation and you didn't? Is that the problem here?
No,
You wanted the man woman sandwich and I didn't deliver it to you instead of I delivered it to the people.
I was.
So you mad because you didn't get Miss Cocktober in your emails?
Yep, you nailed it, dude. That's why I'm pissed because I didn't
Just
get this.
still trying to
invite.
make it fun. I don't
It
know.
has nothing to do with me just doing a bit. It's all good.
You just said it before. It's not a bit when I asked you if it was a bit.
Right. No, I'm saying, so I go, okay, then go support the rest of the trans community. I was doing a bit where I was being funny. I like when I'm in the middle of a sentence and you cut off any momentum. That's why I was weirded about the Hershey thing. It's all good. I didn't mean to be defensive. You weren't trying to. I got caught off guard and didn't realize what you were doing. It's all good. I'm not being defensive.
No, it's not all good, but we'll keep doing it. It's fine. Because it happens. We pull back the tapes 8 million times. We both do that. We get excited and we jump in with jokes. It's what people like about
right. Like that's why I said okay, because I didn't understand at first. That's all. Like I'm saying I'm not being defensive. Who's your
zookeeper viciously mauled to death by raging mother hippo when he tries to feed his calf? I can fucking relate. A 54-year-old caretaker at a zoo in India died Sunday after being brutally mauled by an angry hippo at an animal park, according to reports. Santosh Kumar Matu was attacked by the animal at Ranchi's Bhagwan Birsa Biological Park after he went into the hippopotamus compound to remove a newborn calf for feeding, the Indian Express reported. The protective mother hippo attacked Matu, critically injuring him. Unfortunately, the caretaker succumbed to his injuries on Sunday at a private hospital here. Zoo director Jabber Singh told the outlet the zoo authority took care of the hospital costs. We will also try to get a job for a member of his family. I don't know what they're going to do. He just got eaten. The horrifying incident angered the rest of the zoo's 112 caretakers who shut down the park's main gates in protest to the authority, the Express said. According to the Times of India, Mato suffered multiple injuries in the attack, including having several limbs crushed by the hippo. And in December, a worker at another Indian zoo was attacked and killed by a hippo. In that incident, a 40-year-old caretaker at the Wajid Ali Zoological Garden in Uttar Pradesh went into the animal's compound to clean it and was fatally attacked. According to zoo officials, the hippo was locked behind a gate while the cleaning was being done, but somehow broke free and charged at the worker, killing him. The second worker was injured in the attack, but survived. Who is the piece of shit in this story? Is the hippo for breaking free and attacking a man who's just trying to clean this man's domain? That's his job. It's got to be tough. You work with killer hippos. It's not a good time. They're hungry. They're hippos. It's bad. Is it the second cleaning guy? He was just injured, which means he stood back and watched that guy get fucked up. Yeah, he was injured, but he should have also died. I hate to say that. Neither one of them should have died, or they both should have died. Because if that guy just got kind of injured, it means he held back until the hippo was tired and held back. Is it the zoo for offering the guy's family some jobs afterwards? I get the sentiment. Oh, you're going to need money, but do you want to work where your dad just got eaten and destroyed by a hippo? No, thanks. I don't need that kind of therapy. Or is it zoos? Let it go. We're done. Back in the day, we need to do that. We don't need zoos anymore. You could just travel anywhere, go see them, go online and see it. Who's the piece of shit?
I would say it's not all zoos. It's zoos that have wild animals in areas where you can just be killed by a wild animal. Like, I hate the idea of Crocodile Land in Florida. I think that's dumb as shit when you could just put a baby at the pond at Disneyland. Or, if you're in Africa and you have elephants and somebody gets trampled to death, it's like you can also just get trampled to death in your neighborhood. India has hippos. India has monkeys that throw people off the roof. You don't need a zoo in India. You just need some good running shoes so you can walk around outside. That would be my piece of shit.
This hippo, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying that this hippo was not something that was allowed to be free or roaming around. It broke through chains. So obviously there was somebody that fucking didn't secure something properly. So this isn't one of those ones where you can walk through and touch it. You're not supposed to be able to. The guy was so shocked by that, but obviously something was broke off.
No, I definitely think that but you even kind of illustrated my point further by saying that this hippo was in chains and shouldn't have been around people. Like I'm saying, in India, you don't even have to be at a zoo. You just need to be in life. So like they're already dangerous enough. Why are we keeping one that we know is a killer around? Put it down. I'm all for the animals. I you know what I mean? Like this one's dangerous. It's like when people go, "Oh, this pit bull mauled a baby, save that one pit bull." No, that's a bad pit bull. We don't have to say all pit bulls are bad, but we know for a fact this one is. That would be my piece of shit.
My piece of shit is the guy who didn't secure the fucking hippo tightly. I work places where those things have to be done properly or the bad things can happen. I work in a place now where there's a lot of patients and stuff like that. If a nurse or something like that doesn't fucking secure someone, they can fucking die. If you don't fucking serve them the right food, they can fucking die. Everyone can die every fucking second, every my job all day long. And a zoo is the same thing. But the problem is when you get used to dangerous environments, you start forgetting about the danger because it just becomes an everyday job. So this guy was probably like, "Oh, what's the big deal? You hook this, it's done." Or worse, he was a new guy was coming in because one guy who secures it works too many days a week, and they trained him what they thought was enough. But we've all been trained in a job, even if it's not dangerous, where we're like, we think we know what we're gonna do until they leave us alone the first day, and we're like, fuck, I don't remember if it's 2 laughs class, then 1 hook, or 2 hooks and 1 class. Fuck, I hope I get it right. Whoever did it, there should be no way the hippo all of a sudden can break free. I know it's India and they're not known for their security or their fucking safety and shit like that. But even there, obviously, we're not hearing about 1,000 hippo attacks. So it's not the guy who got eaten. He's just doing his job and he thought everyone else did their job. The second guy was both joking about, but that second guy was like, how would you stop any of that? And it's not even the hippo. He runs free because he's wanting to run free because he's chained into a thing. So whoever's job it is to make sure hippos don't do that, fuck him. He's a piece of shit.
It's also a good point that this hippo's just been sitting there for a chance, just going, "Give me one fucking opportunity. Just give me one opportunity." And he's waiting to chomp. You know what I mean? And he took his one shot, and God love him, he got it. Also, I don't know zoo philosophy, but 137 zookeepers seems a bit high.
I'll bet you there's so many more at the Bronx Zoo. If you think about all the displays and everything, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many. They're calling them zookeeper, but I'm sure it's just people in charge of each small area.
That
you know
makes
what I mean?
sense.
Like,
Yeah,
I'll guarantee in the dangerous snake cave, there's like 5 guys already. You know, there's so many, and there's different shifts, and it's like no one can work 7 days a week, and they're open 7 days a week. So
Absolutely.
I'm guessing there's probably 50 at a time, but there's 100 going.
And they needed in the snake pit alone, they need one guy to play the flute for every boa constrictor they have.
Well, India, I would guess they have more of those. They probably just pick a guy from the subway in New York to do that one because like they don't really have an Indian guy who does no Indian people ever do their India job when they come here. Like when they're a cab driver, they're a doctor there. So they never do that. So flute guy would not come here and be flute guy. He would just keep being the flute guy.
Bronx Zoo's also zookeepers is a fun way to say corner boys when you're talking about the Bronx. Yeah, I'm a zookeeper. I block down this corner.
Right, and there's about 115 of them on every fucking corner you turn.
Yeah,
they're all just
exactly.
standing
You're
there.
good to go.
It makes perfect sense. Yeah, even the smaller zoo. I mean, even petting zoos, when you look around, like, who's actually not working here? When you go around a petting zoo, I remember my kids would go, it's like, are we the only ones here feeding the pets? Because it seems like there's 8,000 people in overalls that keep refilling the pellets and the stupid thing.
Dude, I couldn't agree with you more. I think when we did, we talked about Tiger Lady. What was her name? She was like the woman that Tiger King hated.
Oh yeah,
Carol or whatever. Carol
King? No, that's a singer. It's Carol.
Something.
Carol Baskins. Who would sing the song?
Baskins, yeah. But we talked about it then. But I went to the place Nate Bargatze talks about in his joke where an animal escaped about 6
Yeah.
months, Clyde's Reptile Land, before it escaped and went, somebody could escape. There's one dude here and 50 fucking animals. It's not good.
I went to a zoo in Washington. It didn't happen when we were there, but there was people saying that a couple weeks earlier a giraffe got loose and went into like the streets. And like I wouldn't know what I would do if I was like walking through DC and
Yeah.
all of a sudden past like the monuments, you see a giraffe. You would think it's a movie they're shooting. You wouldn't even believe it's real because a giraffe would be so wild. I've never seen a giraffe. A giraffe to me would be the biggest thing I've ever seen animal wise. I've seen a moose up close before, a giant
They're
moose,
big.
and that was monstrous. But I've never seen anything bigger than. I've never been in front of an elephant live. I mean, I've been at a circus, but they were so far away. It wasn't like standing right there. So like a giraffe to me, if I was on the street, I wouldn't even believe it's real. So a hippo would be like terrifying, but also like, you know, let's laugh. It's like, this can't be fucking real.
Either of those animals, if I saw in DC, I'd be like, oh, look, the African dysentery is in town. What's the word? Where they come and meet the president. They're like real
Not
famous.
dysentery. That's a disease.
No,
but
dude, imagine a hippo in DC
ambassador?
with dysentery. Ambassador is the word I was looking for. There's also one with a diplomat.
Yeah, there's like a, not distinguished, but something like that.
Is it diplomat? That starts
It
with a
could be.
D.
I don't know.
Either way.
I don't think Africans have diplomats. They barely have laundromats.
This story has been making the rounds, and it kind of ties together your first presentation. Do you know who Chris Tyson is?
No.
Okay, let's take a step back. Do you know who Mr. Beast is?
Yes, I do know. I don't know much about him. I know he gives out money and he's like rich and shit, and he's on YouTube and stuff. But I've never really watched anything.
This picture in particular gives nothing away because any AI, any software generating tool will not touch this with a 10,000 foot pole because Mr. Beast is one of the most famous people on YouTube. And Chris Tyson, or Ava Chris Tyson, as she's known now, was one of his constituents who was in all of his videos, like one of his main people, and some stuff came out. So this title is Mr. Beast Cuts Ties with Ava Chris Tyson Amid Serious Allegations. The YouTube community has been shaken by a scandal involving Ava Chris Tyson, a longtime collaborator of Jimmy Donaldson, better known as Mr. Beast. Ava Chris Tyson, who came out as a transgender woman in 2023, has been a prominent figure in most of his videos. Controversy began in June when YouTuber Prism42, he's basically like a commentary guy, released a video that accused Ava Chris Tyson of inappropriate online interactions with a minor. The video presented screenshots of messages exchanged between Tyson and a 13-year-old fan, which allegedly contained suggestive jokes and references to explicit content. The initial video did not gain attention, but gradually sparked a wider spread scrutiny and further accusations from other YouTubers along the way. Compounding the public outrage was the revelation that Tyson was a supporter of Shadman. Do you know who that is?
No.
Oh, so he's like an artist who's infamous for creating sexually explicit cartoons of a minor. Old tweets and videos surfaced showing Tyson's admiration of Shadman's work, fueling the public outrage. The situation escalated when it was claimed that Tyson had continued inappropriate communications with a minor he had met along the way named Lava GS. However, the guy came out and said he had nothing to do wrong. Mr. Beast fired the guy right away, but a lot of people then have been digging up old Mr. Beast tapes along the way, which have had things like him saying he wouldn't buy an N-word for 300 was as much as he could spend on an N-word. He would, saying things in his chat along those lines, but nothing specifically regarding this issue. A couple of people like Sneeko and other people have come out and said this is what happens when you don't follow the rules, and those are conspiracy theorists around the thing, and have also said guys who want to be friends with Mr. Beast aren't making any videos about it. Like most of the people who comment on all the controversies are staying quiet. But the real other twist along the way is we did just start this topic, Jim. So that Lava guy that came out that was friends with Chris at 13 and continued to meet up with him at 16. So the whole thing breaks, and this guy comes online and goes, I'm the person you're talking about, and I didn't send you these screenshots. I don't know how you got them. Like, we did meet up, but nothing went wrong here. And then it came out that this lava guy had nothing to do with the situation. It wasn't the minor they were talking about. He had just outed another pedophile. Like, he had basically admitted that he was another victim of this pedophile.
Oh, victim.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Basically, it outed, like, been like, hey, no, it's not me. He's cool. We met at one, and like put that whole 16 meeting thing out there himself. Who is your piece of shit in this story? Obviously, Ava Chris Tyson is a bit of a problem. We're not, pedophilia is wrong, grooming is wrong, but there really other now there's been a lot of screenshots and stuff that came out, but prior to that, there really wasn't. Mr. Beast just walked away when at the time he was putting him out there like, look, we've got a woke member, we've got, a person transitioning, and I get supporting your friend 100%, but then when the slightest thing breaks to cut loose and run, is it the guys who created conspiracies about this, like, hey, some people want to let all the evidence come out before they comment too soon. What's that pretty dude from Bart who used to work at Barstool that commented about the missing girl and was like, oh, she's just doing drugs and then it found out she had been brutally murdered and it cost him his job. He's a stand-up now, but like it
Francis
cost
Ellis?
Francis Ellis. Yeah. Like, if you speak on things too soon, the public outrage can get you, especially if you're riding the wave of that. Like, I get people, but at the same time, if you're going to talk about everything, you don't talk about your friend. Is it Mike Tyson for not disavowing the situation entirely? Or is it Lava for outing himself? Who's your piece of shit?
Who is the black guy in the picture?
That's Mike Tyson. Because it
Oh.
won't let you make any images or anything even related to this story right now. There's
Right,
like
but you think it would let you
massive-
make Tyson. That looked like Luke Cage. So I was like, okay. It's like,
They can do as close without you really knowing. Then you pay.
I'm confused about a couple things first. I might need some things cleared up. You did a good job reading it. I just don't really I don't know the world. So Mr. Beast, all I know is that he gives away money. He has a YouTube channel. He does like a show. What does he do?
Oh, so Mr. Beast was the most popular YouTuber, like makes the most money on YouTube.
What does he do on the channel? I know like Logan Paul now has a talk show. Before that, he would just make videos. Like, what does Mr. Beast do?
So now currently he does big videos, grand scale. So he recreated Squid Games recently. Before Netflix did their thing where they did the live game, like he did it while it was popular. He would do things like he would pop on to people's streams and give them money. He would find homeless people. He would get eye donations for people. Like, he would use his whole goal for a while.
So you're watching him like one of those reality shows where it's like, we'll flip this house. But he's like, I'll change your life. Like that kind of, that way you're watching.
Yeah, but it's not like a daily stream or anything. It's almost like like you said, like watching a we'll flip that house episode. But it's usually him helping people out, or if you can do this, I'll do this for live streams. Like, if you were benching, he'd be like, I'll give you $1,000 for every rep you can do. And if you did 10,000,
that helps. But then, then why does he need a co-host trans person? To me, if it's not a talk show, then why does he need a trans co-host?
It would be a lot of things like, it wasn't even just him. It was like a whole team of people. One guy left and became super Christian after this, and it's a lot of people are speculating it has to do with the situation, but it would be like me, Jimmy, and Chris are playing Minecraft. If you can find Chris, I'll give you $10,000. So he would use them as parts. They would do editing, and then they all kind of branched off and made their own team from there. If that makes sense.
I've watched shows like that with my kids. Not that one, but ones where like a group of people go somewhere and do a thing, and they need a whole team and they talk. Okay, so I understand that. Because I was trying to figure out why. I was trying to figure out what way this woman, quote unquote, had influence on younger people. Like, if she was put out there to like give advice and then the kids were like trying to talk to her, it's one thing. But if she's just like a character on a show, it's a different thing.
No.
Most people that are on YouTube as a job, and most people that are transsexual as a person, do like little boys. I'll leave that statement alone. Bobby, what were you gonna say?
No. Just so you know, like, then what happened is after they all kind of became celebrities, they made their channel, and hers in particular was like advice and what am I going through in life. But it does sound like she did do the research on how to become a trans, like all the steps and everything like that, just for further knowledge. Not that it makes a difference in what you were about to say.
Right, and I'm not saying that people don't do research, but you're only doing research on a thing that's only been happening for real for only a couple of years. Like, yeah, there's some really fun botches and stuff, but there's not like there's a ton of research or scientists to be like, oh, how do I fucking change my cock? Like, there's not too much of it. So I'm not shitting on her or whatever, but yeah, that's what a lot happened in a couple of years. These people that didn't need anything else like a Mr. Beast, who's the most popular guy and rich and famous and all that, didn't really need to appease the woke community, but they all felt like they had to, and it backfires on them. Because when you go to appease, when you go to fucking reach out and just have a poster child for something, that person is usually an attention-seeking whore. It doesn't matter if they're a man or a woman or a third Z. It doesn't fucking matter. You're not going to get the real good people. A really good trans person would be like, why would I go on Mr. Beast? Like, that doesn't even make sense. I just try and, I'm somebody who's got so many complications in my life. I've changed my gender. I'm not looking for attention. I'm looking to blend in as a woman now. Why would I go on there and go, look at me, all trans as fuck, and I can give you a new car? Like, that's crazy. So, of course, that person, man, woman, or trans, is a fucking pedophile and a stupid creep. So, obviously, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is the piece of shit, and I'm not afraid to say it because we don't get any fucking things from him. Fuck you, Mr. Beast. First of all, your name's Jim Donaldson, and you call yourself a beast? Fuck you. There's no tough beast named Jim. Jim Donaldson's not a tough fucking name. And I've seen the guy. He's not tough. And I don't care where it comes from. Mr. Beast is a fucking gay porn name or a guy who used to own Africans. That's the name for someone named Mr. Beast. It's like, I am Mr. Beast and these are my creatures. And then black guys walk out going ooga booga like somewhere in the 1920s. So that's what that fucking is. So, but Mr. Beast, for fucking, you didn't need it. Why do you need a trans person? Yeah, you're going to hire that person and that happens. It happens in all these kind of YouTube things. What happens? It's never the guy who runs it that gets in trouble. It's that when they bring someone in, someone that seems crazy and fun, they end up also having a criminal record or they're a fucking murderer. So it's Mr. Beast for being a fucking idiot and making sure kids get diddled by weirdos.
To quote one of your favorite comedians, Metzger, Mr. Beast might as well be Sandusky if he's going to keep defending Tyson.
Clip all of this.
Oh, he was joking when you said, we don't get anything from Mr. Beast.
Yeah, no, I'm saying clip all of it. Let's go. I don't think he'd give a shit, but I'll call him a piece of shit. And I also said trans people touch kids constantly. You are a Jim, but you don't call yourself Mr. Beast. You call yourself International Rangoon. That's a way better name.
Would you like to hear Sneeko's quote on the situation?
Sneeko, is he the one that got fucked in the butt?
No, that's Sketch. Sketch goes, yeah, brother.
Okay. Then why do we care about Sneeko? I know you brought him up. Wasn't Sneeko talking about the butt fucker?
Sneeko told him to be quiet. Yeah, he was talking about the butt fucker. See, you bitch.
Sneeko gets involved in everyone's shit. Fuck Sneeko.
Yeah. But dude, this is
Sneeko black?
Half.
Then half of him gets all nosy.
He said we need to keep talking about the fact that he keeps pushing kids to transgenderism. There comes a certain point where you make enough money, you get enough fame, and your YouTube channel is successful enough. But every time you continue to ignore what Chris is, promoting kids are cutting their dicks off because of you, and people should press that a bit more. Base take.
I didn't even realize I was saying if I was trans. That's fine. We should clip that. That's fine.
Yeah, I got a group I need to send that to. For me, the piece of shit in the story is like anybody who said you need to speak up right now. You don't have to speak up. Like if there were allegations about you, and I'm not saying there ever would be, but I'd wait to hear from you before I said anything. And then I'd wait to see where all the dust settled before I stuck my nose into it, especially if you reached out and said, hey, Bobby, shut up about this. I go, all right. You know what I mean? I'd wait to see where everything, yeah.
But you're not known to give out millions of dollars for no reason.
No, that's a good point.
So if someone says, hey, I need you to speak out, they're like, well, maybe he'll give me a prize. Because like the guy's always giving out prizes. So it's like, you need to speak out. It's like, oh, I'll speak out because I might get $10,000 or a new car.
$10,000?
Yeah, I'll speak out about the allegations I don't have.
Yeah, no, whatever you need, buddy. So yeah, that's my piece of shit.
So that's the difference though. Like you saying that like, hey, be quiet, whatever, makes sense. But if you're on a show where everything is for attention, then you even think maybe they want me to talk about this, and they're kind of been like, well, no, we don't really need you to. Are you saying you think I will? It's like, because they're living in this world where everyone has to get likes. It's more about attention than it is about realness. Like in reality, Mr. Beast would shut down his channel for a while, then come back up and go, I am sorry that I ever employed anyone that could even have those kind of intentions. I will be better in vetting people from now on, and we're not going to talk about them anymore. The Try Guys, they did that when they got rid of that fourth guy they had in their group because that guy was all his whole thing. He had his own separate channel too, all about he was the marriage guy and how wonderful married life was, and he was sleeping with an intern that was half his wife's age from the show. And when they found out, it ruined his whole brand and everything. They stopped what they were doing for a little bit. They literally pulled him out of new shit that was coming up. They had to fucking scratch it. They had to go. They went 100%, almost too far. People could have handled it to say we will not tolerate this shit, and he's gone. Mr. B should have done that. Scratch the trans, or make her a guy. AI her into a man. You know what? You don't get to be a lady now. We're gonna make you be a guy in all the old episodes with AI. So you have to be your old self to deal with that.
I don't know who runs Mr. Beast stuff these days, but I'm gonna see if I can reach out and pitch that idea to him. I think you got some good points there, particularly the one about shutting down and just being like, "Hey, look, we're gonna look into this. We'll figure it out. We'll be back." And then you let the dust settle as well. You don't just keep going trying to hand out money and pretend like nothing's happening. Do you know who Aaron Cairo, the Braille skate guy, is?
No.
So he's this dude. He basically was like, "I'll teach you to do a kickflip," and then you could buy his package. He brought together this team that competed in the Braille warehouse. Then it turns out he was a member of Scientology in San Francisco and got promoted to the most important member of Scientology and shut down the warehouse and fired all of his team. And now it's just him. And it's like, you don't need to keep being out there like, oh, now he's doing react videos while all this controversy is coming about one guy and it being inappropriate with kids. And it's just him and his wife watching being like, oh, look at that cool kickflip. It's like, dude, disappear for a while. If you want to re-enter the scene, give it 5 years and people forget. Everybody's memories like that.
Sometimes we still remember it, but you're right. Time does help out a bit.
Yeah,
if
like
Jim or Terry want to come to any of my shows and meet me and say this to my face, go ahead. I mean, if you want to call me PMSing, anytime you guys want to do that, we can always have discussion in real life. I don't give a fuck at this point. I run too much for this dumb shit. We're fine. We're fine. Everybody just likes to joke when they do their dumb thing. When you're putting out things like that, we're reading a story. I don't need that shit. So that's fine. 2 little girls dead. I want to bring up nice news. 9 injured in mass stabbing at Taylor Swift dance party in Southport, UK. 2 young children were killed and 9 others injured when a hooded, knife-wielding teenager rampaged through a Taylor Swift-themed dance workshop in the UK Monday morning, police said. The horror unfolded shortly before noon in Southport, just outside Liverpool, when the unidentified 17-year-old arrived by taxi and started attacking the children and adults who were trying to stop him. Hours later, Merseyside Police Chief Constable Serena Kennedy confirmed that 2 children died and 9 others were injured, including 6 left fighting for their lives, along with 2 adults left in critical condition from being stabbed as they were bravely trying to protect the kids. Responding officers were shocked to find that the multiple people, many of whom were children, had been subjected to a ferocious attack and had serious injuries. As a mom and a nana, I can't begin to imagine the pain and suffering that the families and the victims are going through at this time. The 17-year-old male was arrested, police said, stressing that it is not currently being treated as terror-related. No other possible motive was suggested, nor any connection between the suspect and any of those attacked. Witnesses said the attacker wore a black hood when he entered the Heart Space, which also houses a nursery and had advertised a morning of Taylor Swift-themed yoga, dance, and bracelet making. It is like a scene from a horror movie, local merchant Colin Perry told the BBC. They are coming here now and screaming. It's like something from America, not like sunny Southport. Oh, fuck you. At least 25 children from the age of 6 to 11 were at the event when the carnage unfolded, and the knifemen reportedly pulling up in a taxi, witnesses said. I saw 7 to 10 kids outside the nursery, said Bear Varathon, who owns a nearby shop. They were injured, bleeding. They were in the road, running from the nursery. They have been stabbed here, everywhere, he said, indicating the neck, back, and chest. A Heart Space employee described the chaos. When I got there was a guy who was absolutely distraught, in a mess. He said he'd seen 2 children run out of the Heart Space and he thought they had got hit by a car because the car was just full of blood at the side of the car.
Oh, God.
But it was actually that the children who had been stabbed had fallen into the car. In a statement Monday, King Charles said he and Queen Camilla were profoundly shocked over the horrific incident. We send our most heartfelt condolences, prayers, and deepest sympathies to the families and loved ones of those who have tragically lost their lives and to all those affected by this truly appalling attack. Prime Minister Keir Starmer called it horrendous and deeply shocking. The victims were rushed to 3 local children's hospitals, where they were being treated after the attack. The wounded victims were taken to Alder Hey Children's Hospital, Antrim University Hospital, and Southport and Formby Hospital. Their conditions were not immediately available. One witness reported the heart-wrenching scene outside the venue following the attack. One parent told the Mail his daughter was at the event. My daughter was in it, and she was traumatized, he said. She ran away, and she's safe. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it the New York Post from putting that right on top of it is Taylor Swift? The hashtag at the bottom is Taylor Swift. And yeah, it was a Taylor Swift theme party, but Taylor Swift has nothing to do with this story. This was maniacs being maniacs at a fucking terrible incident. Is it people who bring their kids to some fucking theme thing and don't expect crazy shit to happen? It's fucking... The world is too nuts. If you have anything that's got popularity to it, psychopaths are going to be there. Don't do it. Is it the king and queen for fucking speaking up on this? I want to hear from the prime minister. I already got fake shit. A Taylor Swift party with Taylor Swift not at it. I don't need fake rulers like the king and queen being there and fucking talking about it. Don't give a shit what they have to say. The prime minister was right. It's horrendous. It's terrible. It's awful. Is it the person in this fucking article who wrote, it seemed like America? Whatever that quote was from that person. You know, it's not what like us, that's America. Fuck you. Like, first of all, it was stabbings. That's not us, that's you. We would have shot them. Who's the piece of shit in the story?
Oh, there are so many pieces of shit. Let's start with the king and queen. The only thing I want you to do is declare a new crusade. That's the only thing people want to hear from you. Just do a fake thing, right? They're not real. Neither are the king and queen. Next piece of shit, New York Post. So many missed opportunities for puns within this article. It's not really Taylor Swift's fault, I agree, but it was her dance party. Let's use that to our advantage. Like, why didn't they say, like, a disheveled man walked in? I knew he was trouble when he walked in. The little girl got to the car and was like, she wears short skirts. I've got blood on my t-shirts. I got stabbed to death, and he's, I don't know a rhyme there, on the bleachers. So for me, the piece of shit is like the New York Post. This doesn't need to be a story. This doesn't need to be out there. Don't make it a Taylor Swift thing, because then that's like when we publicize like specific details like that. Now it becomes like, oh, if I stab a bunch of people at the fucking Mandy Moore movie-thon, people will come put that in the New York Post.
I do think it has to be a story because of the tragedy of that many children being stabbed. If it's adults, you don't. I don't think. Maybe like it's a quick thing. But because kids did get stabbed, it is something outrageous, and people need. If the media doesn't serve their job of letting people know, then someone's going to go to another incident like this and go, "Did you hear your kids going to another Taylor Swift party? Did you hear about the last one?" Like, I didn't hear. Oh, why didn't the media let us know? So like. That part, I get. You're right. I don't like that how sensationalized it is, and I don't like the leaning on Taylor Swift, but I do understand them having to do that. That being said, the piece of shit in the story, and I didn't want to say it was, is Taylor Swift. Because she should come out. She should be the first person in this article saying, this is awful. My heart goes out to all of them. I'm going to ask that people don't put on things in my name anymore.
Good call.
I know it sounds crazy, but I have copyright on everything else in my life. You can't sing my songs without my permission. You can't use my name without my permission. You can't have Taylor Swift singing dark. And I think a lot of people should follow that, because that's how people get trapped. That's how pedophiles operate. That's how fucking traffickers operate. You want to come to this wacky thing? Oh, the Logan and Jake Paul are gonna be somewhere. Like, oh, really? I'll go, and then they're not there, and you get diddled. Like, people use shit all the time to fucking entice people. Don't go to a Taylor Swift thing if Taylor Swift's out there. If it costs $10 and it's in UK, it's not a Taylor Swift thing.
No,
it's Taylor Swift. We're not shutting it down and saying, I am sorry. This has been said in my name. King, shut the fuck up. I'm more popular than you. Fucking Prime Minister. No one even knew your name till Pat read it. Fuck off. So yeah, it's Taylor Swift for not fucking putting down her foot and going, me and Kelsey are going to beat the shit out of you guys if you don't fucking stop.
Dude, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, if she comes out and goes, don't do this in my name, I appreciate the support. I love my fans, but it gets shut down and she's out of the story instantaneously. Maybe even put on a fun concert somewhere to raise money for the kids.
No, I wouldn't go near England at all. There's a guy stabbing people about that.
Oh, no, do it here and we'll send the money overseas. Like, what was like that song we all wrote together? We got stabbed in the world. We are the world.
Oh, we are the world. They had one too first, though. Do you know it's Christmas time?
Do they know it's Christmas?
Right, that one was first, and then we like stole that. Harry Belafonte heard it and was like, "We got to do something." It's like, so the banana boat guy was the reason we are the world. There's a great documentary on Netflix.
Hey,
about it.
Mr. Tallyman, tally me bananas. They're low because the song's outselling you. I got an idea.
Yeah. Who was the guy? Fuck, I can't remember his name. Al Jarreau, maybe. Yeah, he literally was drunk at the recording of "We Are the World," and he started going, "Let's all sing Harry Belafonte's song," and he made everyone sing. When you watch the documentary, it's crazy. Like, and everyone's like, "Why are we doing this?" He's like, "No," and he's like being a dickhead while drinking. So they kind of like, "All right, Al Jarreau, no more booze for you."
Who else was it? They got to the Swahili part, and wasn't that the other part?
That's Waylon Jennings.
Jennings walked off and was like, "I'm not singing that horse shit."
And he's the reason they changed the wording.
So it worked.
If he stayed around for 2 more minutes, they would have been like agreed with him. But he's like, "Fuck this," and he left. And they're like, "He has a point. We need people to sing along with this, the American song. So let's not do this." And then they did change the words, so he could have been in it.
I love Waylon.
But no, he left too early.
Him and Willie, they make a hell of a team. Like peanut butter and jelly, like oats and Tamboro. I'm trying to share this story, but I keep hitting the wrong buttons. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think you're seeing on your end, but I'm having a lot of issues.
Oh, I'm not seeing it on my end, thank goodness.
Right. On my end, you are just shaking like crazy and everything is like staticky. So it's like,
oh, maybe I am having issues. Maybe I'm having a stroke. If it works, great. If not, it doesn't. Nevada judge Michelle Fiore indicted on federal fraud charges. My bad. She didn't indicate anything. Nevada judge Michelle Fiore indicted on federal fraud charges. Michelle Fiore, a Nevada justice of the peace and former Las Vegas city council member, has been indicted on multiple federal fraud charges, including wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Fiore, who also ran unsuccessfully for the state treasurer in 2022, faces allegations of misusing funds donated for a police memorial for her personal expense. The 5-count indictment filed on July 16th accuses Fiore of diverting tens of thousands of dollars meant for a memorial to a slain police officer to cover her political campaign costs, rent, and her daughter's wedding. The funds were solicited under the promise that 100% of the contributions would be used for the memorial statue, a promise prosecutors say was not honored. Fiore, 53, has vehemently denied the charges, claiming she was unaware of the indictment until it was reported to the media. "I hold my oath of office sacred and have consistently strived to serve my community with integrity," she stated, expressing her eagerness to address the charges in court. Fiore's legal trouble add to a controversial career marked by her outspoken support for guns rights and high-profile political stances, including backing rancher Cliven Bundy during the armed standoffs in Bunkerville, Nevada, and at a wildlife refuge in Oregon, her tenure of the Las Vegas City Council, and as a state legislature was similarly contentious, often drawing natural contention. If convicted, Fiore faces up to 20 years in prison for each count of wire fraud. Her attorney, George Kellesis, has yet to comment publicly on the case. Pat, who is the piece of shit in this story? Is it Miss Piggy, who embezzled tens of thousands of dollars from a statue, put it into her personal fund, and just assumed she wasn't going to get caught? It's one thing if you've been the state secretary for a while and like you've never done anything controversial, you've kind of flown under the radar, you might have a prayer of getting away with this. This is something that those people are going to check every dollar on. Is it the state council of Las Vegas? Now we're going to pretend like you guys are on the up and up. There's no money going into pockets anywhere. Like the city was built on mob crime. The government was mob ran. What are we doing here? Is it anybody who put this woman in charge of money? She's clearly crazy. And then she ran for state treasurer to try to cover up her fraud. And then you made her a judge and allowed her to keep practicing. Who's the piece of shit? Pat, we'll throw it to you first.
It's the big fat woman. Easily it's her. But I know people like this. Like I knew a woman that was in charge of like a much lower level, but like a school treasury for like the PTO. And her whole thing was like, she was in charge of that, but she didn't they had a system before she went in, but she's like, no, I have a better system. And her system made it so no one else could really see what she was doing but her. And she made the books in a way where like she had to be in charge of them and no one else could take over for her. And even if money was like, hey, we thought this deposit was going like this, but only this amount came in, not this amount, she'd already have like 8 stories where they got confused and fuck it. And in reality, this person was pocketing some of the money, maybe putting it back later, but got them all crazy. But then would double talk like this woman is like, hey, listen, this and this and this is happening. That's why you can't do this, to the point where you get so exhausted, you go, fuck it. Well, they obviously know what they're doing. Why would they steal from us? It's a PTO, or at a higher level, this huge thing. Why would they steal from us? They would never. There's too many, checks and balances. Of course they wouldn't. So usually the higher up it goes and the more important it is, people actually do tend to step back and go, well, the most trusted person is there. Because they're thinking, well, how would they have gotten there? Well, that's how thieves and crooks happen. They're smart and they do the long game and they get in there. So it's this fucking person for being a piece of shit, for wanting that job right away and knowing they were there just to do these things.
See, I took the exact opposite stance. I think it's whoever beat her for treasurer. That person is absolutely cooking the books and pinned it on this lady. Made it look like she was stealing all the money. She had been saving. She was a good person her whole life. She's paid for her daughter's wedding out of, her savings fund. And this guy's like, fuck that bitch for trying to find out I'm stealing all this money. Let's make it look like she did it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that would be a good plan, but I think almost it's even more than that. I think if anything, this big fat lady was like, I'll do this, and then when they find it later, I can be like, I bet you they're the ones doing it, they're trying to blame me. Like you leave it.
It's the world's greatest. He said, she said. No, they did this to me.
Smelt it, dealt it, like all day long. Are you familiar with the works of Jodie Sweetin and Candace Cameron Bure?
No.
They are the two. They're Stephanie and DJ Tanner from Full House.
Oh, I didn't realize that was their real names.
That's their real names. Well, they're adults now, and some of them have opinions in one way, and some have opinions in the other. Now, Jodie Sweetin, who was Stephanie, she was known for a while for having big tits and being a drug addict. And then she got cleaned up and she still had big tits. And then Candace married a hockey player, Bure, whatever you pronounce it. That's why she has that last name. But she's been on things like The View or The Talk and shit like that. She's got like a different conservative thing. So one's like pretty woke on one side and one's at the other way. So sometimes their opinions mesh up together. Jodie Sweetin is clapping back at critics of the Olympics opening ceremony's drag performance. I did not watch the beginning. I haven't watched any Olympics yet because I read a little bit of rugby today when I was at work and happened to be on. But I have not seen it. But I've heard that the ceremony was crazy and there was some drag, not trans or drag, whatever. And one of the people that critiqued it was her former co-star, Candace Cameron Bure, who is DJ. After DJ took to Instagram Saturday to slam the Disgusting Show for mocking the Christian faith, Sweetin shared a point posted on her Instagram story. The drag queen at the Olympics were recreating the Feast of Dionysus, not the Last Supper, read Sunday's upload by activist Matt Bernstein. Hold on, I gotta click for more. Yay, page 6. And even if you thought it was a Christian reference, what's the harm? The graphic asked, why is it a parody and not a tribute? Can drag queens not be Christian too? Bernstein captioned the carousel, which featured slides showing Elon Musk and Piers Morgan's critiques. Not the Last Supper, but they ate. Sweetin, 42, also reposted a video of comedian Walter Masterson breaking down the performance's link to Dionysus, which sounds fun. Boom.
So Dionysus was like the party one, drink and lust and all
right,
that
but
stuff.
To share a comedian's take on it, that doesn't sound like a good time.
No.
Tell me you don't know. Oh yeah. Tell me you don't know about your art or history without telling me you don't know about art or history, the actress wrote over the footage one day. Cameron Bure, 48, acknowledged the Dionysus claim when she doubled down on her criticism of the performance on Sunday. Many have tried to correct me, saying it wasn't about the interpretation of Da Vinci's The Last Supper, but a Greek god and a festival of Dionysus, she wrote, pointing out that Dionysus is a god of lust, insanity, religious ecstasy, ritual madness, etc. And they show a picture of the person that was it. It was a big fat lady, or man lady, whatever. She noted, I still don't see how that relates to unifying the world through competitive sports. and acceptable for children to watch. In any case, I'm not buying it. DJ and Stephanie's reps have yet to respond to Page 6 requests for comment. The Full House co-stars who shared the screen from 87 to 95 and again from 2016 to 2020 with the Fuller House revival have previously made headlines for differing beliefs before. In November 2022, Sweeten unfollowed Burr on Instagram after the former Hallmark Channel star referred to gay marriage as non-traditional and not the focus of great American media, for which she works as chief content officer. When JoJo Siwa slammed the former The View co-host at the time for excluding LGBTQIA plus stories from her movies, Sweeten gave the 20-year-old pop star her support. "You know I love you," she wrote in an Instagram comment. And a little more. Sweeten told People the following year that she was disappointed when one of her independent films was sold to Cameron Burr's networks without her knowledge. Cameron Burr clapped back in backlash in an Unapologetic with Julie Jeffrey Sadler podcast. And they go on and on. They just don't like each other. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it fucking DJ Tanner for fucking making comments? I know it's her job now, kind of, on a thing, but making comments about fucking the Olympic ceremonies. I don't care about the Olympic ceremonies, but I really don't give a fuck about DJ Tanner's take on the Olympic ceremonies. You know what I care less about? The rebuttal from Stephanie Tanner and how she feels about it. Who gives a fuck? The Olympics are a full house. That's all it is. They're supposed to come together. Who gives a shit? Is it Stephanie for talking? Is it DJ for talking? Is it France for fucking going, let's do drag queens? I get it. You're French and you're fucking weird. What the fuck? She is right with one thing. What the fuck's this got to do with competitive sports? Absolutely nothing. We don't need any of your French shit. Do shit about sports. I'm pretty sure the Olympics have been in Paris before. Do a tribute to the olden times of that. And if not, other ones are best of the Olympic, whatever it would be. Is it their beef? Because now that makes people go, oh, I wish there was Full House again. Because I know a lot of people that loved Fuller House. I never watched Winston. But now they're like, oh, I'd like them together. Let them be political and fight like sisters do. Or is it Danny Tanner for dying? Because if he was here, he would have solved all this. Who's the piece of shit in the story?
For me, the piece of shit's anybody who looked at the Olympics opening ceremony and wanted to see a political message. Like, it's a different culture. Stop using our political lens to analyze it through, right? What they're trying to put out there, probably completely different than how you or I see things through our American lens of us versus them that we've created over time. It's the Olympics. It happened in Greece. There's nothing Christian about it. Like, that was a dude ran from this battle to marathon to report a thing, and that became the Olympics. We don't need Judeo-Christian things. We don't need conservative, woke. Just, it was a weird thing. Is anybody surprised France is into weird sexes and shit? That's what I heard about them my whole life. Two things. Weird sexually, don't like to fight wars, like to surrender quickly. Like, why are we shocked that Paris, the capital of both, is just weird? Like, it's gonna be weird. Focus on the sports. That's why we watch the Olympics. You said you watched rugby, you like that. I saw the U.S. men's team got a medal for the first time in gymnastics since 2008, thanks to Brody, who showed up with a torn ACL. Like, that's why we watch the Olympics. The idea of the Olympics, both in the time in Greek and since we've reinvented it, has been to forget about all this political bullshit and just enjoy sports. Like, or enjoy the sport through the context of that, like us versus Russia. But it's never been about making a political message on the field. That's my piece of shit. Anybody who wants to make this political, just fucking enjoy the sports, man.
I guess I get trying to add art. France and Paris in particular is known for art. So if they're trying to like I didn't watch it, so it's hard for me to judge what they're saying. But if they're trying to recreate a painting and bring it to life, either the Last Supper when they said it wasn't that, it was a diocese thing, whatever. If it's a painting of gods or whatever, they're trying to recreate that by using drag queens. I guess I kind of get it because they like to paint a lot of fat women back then. And the best kind of fat women are drag queens, like little Jack Blacks walking around in dresses. That makes the most sense to be a big pudgy bitch because nowadays they're skinny or they're too fat. There's not going to be fat black women. There's no Lizzo or whatever. There's not going to be any heroin looking ladies. So maybe you need that. I don't know. To me, the piece of shit in this story is anyone who gives a fuck about the opinions of people from a show a long time ago. In order of caring about what they have to say. Even though he's dead, Bob Saget goes first.
Oh yeah.
Second, because he inspired one of the best songs ever, and with a hot woman. Dave Coulier goes second because of everything he did last Morissette. Mary Kate and Ashley also go third because of the mystique of them, but also because as kids go, they were the famous ones. They were the ones we gave a fuck about. You know, it's like Michelle going, "You got it, dude." People don't quote Stephanie and DJ; they quote Michelle, and Michelle is two people, so that's four right there. Stamos is super handsome and Greek and gets mad puss and married Rebecca Romaine at one point and then got to play with the Beach Boys. That's not the best stuff, but he got a model and he got to be in one of the biggest rock bands of all times. And he's an actor. And he's in yoga commercials. That's better. And then, to be honest, I'd probably go with Kimmy Gibbler before I fucking went with either one of those two on an opinion. I don't give a shit about that. That dog was kind of cool. How about the lady who played fucking the lady who
Rebecca,
played fucking John
yeah,
Stamos,
Aunt
like
Becky.
Rebecca, she got in trouble for fucking like fixing it to get her kids into college. She's got better cool things to say. And then it comes down to those two pieces of shit. And I'm going with Jodie Sweetin because she used to do drugs and she had big tits. That's what I care about. And then in the end, I guess it's DJ. You married a Canadian hockey player and you're acting Republican. That's stupid twice. So the piece of shit is anybody who gives a fuck about them because they aren't even they're like the 8th and 9th best people. They're the Tommy Davidsons of fucking Full House.
Could not agree with you more. My favorite part of the opening ceremony was you passed the torch from all your great athletes in the Olympics over the years, right? France ran out of athletes. They just started using Americans.
Yeah. Well, they were every country's supposed to have some, but it was funny how and LeBron got to do it, and I was shocked that was the first NBA person to do it.
I am too. I didn't realize that was, but I guess they really have kind of grown the attention paid to, like, other than the Dream Team, people didn't really care about the Olympics up until the Redeem Team.
No, I mean the years later they did the second Dream Team. They cared too because 4 years later, I remember that. And I think people cared. I think what it's happening is because it's when it happens, it's shortly after the draft. It's into the summer leagues and stuff like that, and the way things are happening. They don't come over like everyone else and go to Olympic Village. They come over when they want to. They're away. They're not in the. I know that one year they tried to do that and say we're cool, but they're not staying in the Olympic Villages anywhere. They're off being sequestered because like they're the richest people there by far. Like they're richer than most of the fucking presidents and rulers that are fucking there. Like, they have so much goddamn money. Yeah. It's insane. Each one of them. I mean, fucking Jason Tatum's riding the bench and he makes more money than all of Ethiopia. So it's like. So I think like there's no one ever there. LeBron is the kind of guy that would, and I can, people shit on him, whatever. He seems like the kind of guy that would be like, hey, that would be huge in my life. If I could be I mean, I know I've done a million things. If I could hold the torch, so Muhammad Ali got to hold the torch. So many fucking icons have held this torch. I could see LeBron doing that, and he's the guy that should have done it. If you take everyone else, maybe Steph, but to me, it's LeBron. LeBron is America. When you think about basketball now in other countries, he is that. Jordan, I wouldn't see doing that. Jordan was more selfish. I know people call LeBron selfish. I don't. I think I'm happy LeBron got to do that.
I'm happy for him. I'm not a huge LeBron guy, and I said this earlier on the David Mack show, but every 4 years when he wears that red, white, and blue, goddamn do I root for him. Let's go.
Well, America. I was never a Jordan fan because I was a Knicks fan. But I still appreciate. I hated Reggie Miller with a passion, but God, did I love watching Reggie Miller? I was just mad I was watching him.
Exactly.
I mean, we always have that. I didn't know how to root for Wade Boggs when he came over to the Yankees because I used all my heart and soul to hate him for so many years. Same thing with Roger Clemens years later. That made no sense to me. Two men that I was raised to fucking hate were now on my team. LeBron would be an easier root for me if he became a Knick. I think Jordan would win there, but I would have hated him there because it wouldn't have been the Knicks. It'd be like, oh, Jordan just came here to prove something. LeBron, I don't know, would become more New York. Michael is Michael Jordan. LeBron does become his city.
Yeah, he does.
LeBron was Miami. LeBron is LA. LeBron was Cleveland. Jordan was bigger than Chicago. It didn't represent Chicago. You didn't hear about all the Chicago things that are happening. Jordan, to me, is a better player of all time if you're doing that sort of debate. But as a representative for NBA, Michael was a great representative for Michael Jordan, who happened to play in the NBA, and LeBron is a representative for the NBA.
I could see that 1,000,000%. Jordan was a brand. LeBron's kind of the sport.
And he was a brand before there were brands. So, I mean, he did set that whole trend.
He took a step at a butt, is what I'm saying. Like, it was about him, whereas LeBron's about the sport of basketball, particularly the NBA. So, yeah,
LeBron's a
I see what you're
dad,
saying.
too. Michael would never, ever just be like even helping his kids get in the NBA.
Not helping in the NBA, but he did throw that hoop and be like, hey, fuck Scottie Pippen's ex for me. You mind doing that for a while?
I mean, to be honest, I still feel like that's something he did to go, like, I want to take away from my dad. I don't make my dad look bad because in the last dance, he didn't mention us once.
Even though we were in Space Jam.
Yeah, we were his children. Maybe we get mentioned a little bit. Maybe stop gambling and killing grandpa.
Why is grandpa not here? Shut up.
Because the Bears didn't cover the under.
If the Bears had done their job, then grandpa could get you Christmas presents.
Yeah, we couldn't abort the Bears, so shut up. So join us tomorrow, 3:30. That'll be our time, our place. We'll be here for most of the week as much as we can. I think this week will be recently on the schedule. Thank you all for that were watching. Join on the Patreon if you want. This Thursday, we will try our best. It won't be at the regular time. I have to do some radio to promote the upcoming week's shows. And I'll be doing that between 2:30 and 3:30 on 99.9 Star. If anyone's listening in the Connecticut or New York areas, that comes out there. I think it's different stations there. It's Star, whatever. Anyway, so Thursday we'll try to do something at one point. But yes, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Friday, our 3:30 shouldn't be an issue. Bobby, you got anything you want to promote?
People know the big thing. 8th, 9th, 10th, Comics Mohegan Sun. Come see Pat's album taping. I'll be there with you.
One show Thursday, one show Friday, 2 shows Saturday. 6 and 8 are the Saturday. Come on out. If you really want to go see the Saturday show, I'd buy those tickets now because those are the tickets that move the fastest. Then it goes Friday, then it goes Thursday. If you're looking for a chance to hang out with us afterwards, Thursday and Friday are the better nights to do that. Saturday, there's 2 shows and like a lot of hecticness and stuff going on and packing up and wrapping up. Not that we can't hang out then too, but if you were coming to hang, it's an easier show for us to fucking chill with. There's only one, and there's like karaoke and shit going on in the bars. A lot of things we can walk around and do. So you choose what you want to do. We'd love to see you there no matter what. But go grab your tickets at comicsroadhouse.com ASAP. And besides that, Bobby,
if you can't beat them, or if you can't join them, beat them, and don't be a